The first sign that something was wrong came at 3:14 in the morning, and nobody caught it. Not because people weren't watching. Zoa City's water network had more eyes on it than almost any other system in the city, thousands of small sensors buried underground, all of them feeding information continuously into a central computer that never slept, never blinked, and never missed a single data point. If a pipe sneezed anywhere beneath those streets, the system knew about it within seconds. But knowing and understanding are two different things. At 3:14 a.m., a sensor deep beneath the mid-district corridor registered something unusual, a brief, sharp drop in water pressure inside one of the main distribution pipes. It lasted 4 seconds. Then the pressure came back to normal, stable and clean, as if nothing had happened. The computer looked at those 4 seconds, compared them against its library of known problems, and made a decision. Sensor malfunction. Minor. Not worth waking anyone up. It filed the event, smoothed it out of the active report, and kept moving. That decision would turn out to be the most expensive mistake in Zoa City's history. To understand what Marcus Webb did on that Thursday morning, you first have to understand what these pipes actually are and what they actually do. Beneath Zoa City, beneath every street, every building, every hospital and school and residential tower, there is an entire world that nobody sees. A network of pipes running in layers, like floors of a building going downward. The deepest pipes are the big ones, wide as a car tunnel, that carry massive volumes of water from the city's treatment facilities into the grid. Above those sit the mid-layer pipes, thinner but still substantial, branching out across districts like the main roads of a highway system, carrying water from those deep mains and distributing it across neighborhoods. It had been creating tiny fractures in the pipe walls. Not cracks you could see. Not leaks. Something earlier than that, microscopic splits in the material, the way a piece of plastic starts to go white and brittle before it actually breaks. Each fracture was smaller than a human hair. But over months of daily pressure cycling, water pushing hard every morning as the city woke up, easing at night, pushing hard again, those microfractures had been slowly spreading. The 4-second pressure drop at 3:14 a.m. was one of those fractures flexing. The pipe wall had shifted slightly under stress, the fracture had opened a hair, and then the material had pushed back and stabilized. Like a bone that bends without breaking. For now. Marcus Webb was 51 years old and had spent his entire career looking at water network data. Not managing it, not overseeing it from a distance, actually reading it. Every Thursday morning he pulled the full weekly report for the mid-layer grid and went through it the way a doctor reads a patient's chart, not looking for anything specific, just looking, letting his experience tell him if something felt wrong. His colleagues used the automated analysis system for this. VENN, the central infrastructure AI, was faster, more thorough, and processed in an hour what would take a human team a week. Marcus used VENN too. But he also did this. Every Thursday. Because 19 years of reading water data had given him something VENN didn't have, the ability to notice when something felt wrong before he could explain why. He found the 3:14 a.m. event at 6:47 in the morning. A single line in a report thousands of lines long. 4 seconds. Reclassified as sensor malfunction. Filed away. Marcus flagged it and kept reading. He found the second one 11 minutes later. Different location, different date. Same signature. A brief pressure drop, a recovery, a reclassification. Filed away. He stopped reading the rest of the report and started doing something different. He went back 8 months. This was not a normal thing to do. Nobody had asked him to. There was no alarm, no incident, no reason on paper to go digging through 8 months of archived data. But Marcus had found 2 events with the same signature in the same general area of the grid, and that quiet instinct that came from 2 decades of experience was telling him to look harder. It took him most of the morning. He pulled pressure logs, acoustic monitoring records, sensors that detected the actual sound of water moving through pipes, because healthy pipes and stressed pipes sound different, and flow rate histories. He laid them across his screen side by side and went through them month by month. By early afternoon he had found 11 events. All of them in the same 40-kilometer stretch of mid-layer pipe. All of them with the same signature. All of them reclassified and dismissed. Here is what 11 events across 8 months in the same stretch of pipe actually means in plain language. The pipes in that corridor were not having random bad moments. They were progressively weakening. Each event was the material giving a little more than it gave the time before. The fractures weren't staying the same size. They were growing. And because they were growing at the connection points, the joints where the mid-layer pipes branched upward to feed buildings, they weren't just weakening one pipe. They were weakening the handoff points between the distribution system and every building connected to that corridor. Hospitals. Residential towers. Everything. A single pipe failure is a problem. What Marcus was looking at was not a single pipe problem. If enough of those joints gave way simultaneously, during a high-demand moment when water pressure in the system surged, the failures would happen faster than any rerouting system could respond. You wouldn't lose water to one block. You would lose water to entire districts. All at once. With no clean way to restore it quickly because the very pipes you needed to reroute through would be part of the failure. And in a city, no water doesn't just mean thirst. It means hospitals losing the ability to function. It means sanitation failing. It means fires with nothing to fight them. Marcus sat at his desk for a long time after he understood what he was looking at. Then he walked down the hall to tell his supervisor. Joel Sarin listened carefully. He looked at the data. He acknowledged that the pattern was real and that Marcus had done thorough work finding it. And then he told Marcus to write it up formally and submit it for the quarterly infrastructure review. In 6 weeks. Marcus went back to his desk. He ran a simple forecast. How often in the next 30 days would the water demand across the corridor spike high enough to push the pressure past the point those weakened joints could handle? He was looking for the moments when the city's water usage would surge, early mornings, hot days, high activity periods, and cross-referencing them against the stress tolerance of pipes that were already compromised. The answer was 3 times. 3 separate windows in the next 30 days where conditions were right for the joints to give. 6 weeks was 5 weeks too late. Marcus picked up his access card. He had no appointment. He had no invitation. The Infrastructure Council on the 14th floor had never heard his name. He was a mid-level network engineer with a printed report and a number that nobody wanted to hear. He got in the elevator anyway.